I'm Dr. Helen Gittos. I'm a fellow and tutor in history, and I specialise in the Middle Ages. The whole week's work is organised around an essay which the student writes, and we would sit down at the beginning of term and talk about the kinds of things they're interested in and design the work of the term around that. And I would then give them a reading list for one of those topics each week, and that would include things which were introductory, ways into a new topic, but also brand new pieces of evidence that have just been discovered or debates that are exciting and current. And the student would then spend probably about 2/3 of the week reading for that, listening to lectures, going to lectures that are related to that topic, and perhaps 1/3 of the week writing their essay. And they would then hand the essay in maybe the day before or the morning before the tutorial, and I would then read that essay, and that would then be the basis of the discussion within the tutorial. Each tutorial is different. I usually try and start off with whatever is in the student's mind. So they have spent a week thinking about this material, and we will begin by talking about things they've read, things that they're puzzled by, questions they have, or things that have really excited them, what was really interesting and intriguing. And so often that provides a beginning, and then much of the tutorial will be exploring the ideas that they've written about in the essay, or maybe ones that they didn't quite manage to put in the essay but wish they had. So it's very much a conversation which is starting from wherever the student is. And it might end up in all sorts of ways. We might end up talking about something very different that fills in bits of their knowledge or ideas that they hadn't covered. Or we might end up talking about, we might end up dismantling the argument they put together and putting it back together in a different way and seeing if that is more powerful. Sometimes we'll look at pieces of evidence. So we might look at images of maps or archaeological evidence or some source or something brand new, and think about what does this add to or change whatever the student has been arguing. Sometimes it's led by things that have come up from their work, something that they don't understand or they were confused by. Sometimes it's about debating some current argument that's going on within the field, and we might explore what that debate's all about and why people have different sorts of views about something. Sometimes it's very evidence-based, so maybe we talk about why historians have different views because they prioritise different sorts of evidence. Sometimes it's about contextualising things differently. So if we look at something from a point of view of Britain, how does it look? If we place it within a wider European or global context, how does that change things? So every conversation is particular and different, and that's what makes them interesting. You never know what's going to happen. You don't know where it's going to end up. And the student has been reading and thinking about a topic for a whole week. They've sometimes read things that you haven't read for a long time, or maybe that you haven't yet read. And so they're bringing all sorts of ideas and perspectives into the room. And it's just a genuine pleasure to explore them with them. And they're really unpredictable. And for that reason, they're very exciting. It's genuinely a partnership, and at its best, I am talking about things that I'm currently thinking about at the same time that the student has, and we work together to think through real problems. It isn't so much a kind of going through the motions of having a debate. It's actually talking about what's really interesting and really puzzling and really current. And at the moment, I'm supposed to be writing about the 13th century and finishing a book chapter. But because I've been teaching early Anglo-Saxon England, I've ended up writing an article about the 6th century. And that's absolutely informed by, related to, coming out of things that I've been talking with students, both undergraduates and graduate students. And I similarly are bringing into tutorials things that I'm currently thinking about and working on, and the students talk with me about what they find persuasive or what they don't. So at its best, it's very much really doing history, not just pretending to be historians. We're looking for students who want to work hard, who are genuinely committed and interested in doing history. We're looking for students who are willing to take risks, to be adventurous, to not say the obvious. And we're looking for students who are interested in developing their own voice and treating it as something which is creative. And so often the very best students and the students that are great to teach are the ones who are perhaps a bit unconventional in some way, or simply are just really, really willing to think deeply and explore and be open-minded about the subjects that they're interested in and where their thought will take them. Oh, the best thing about teaching history at Balliol is the students. The students are extraordinary. They are such interesting, diverse, surprising, splendid people, and being able to share some of that time with them is very special. But it's also an amazing place to do history because history is such a big subject in Balliol. We have 4 permanent tutors in history. We have a huge community of graduate students as well as undergraduates. And so it very much feels like a place where we collaborate, we work together, where there are long traditions of great historians who've worked here before, but where we're currently exploring new ideas in a community.